Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be rereading some of my 5-star reads. There are several books that when I first read them, I was immediately like, at some point, I need to reread these because they were just so good. 5 stars all around. And this time, one of the things I want to do when going through these books is to like more heavily annotate them. I did annotate them some more than others, but one thing I really want to do when going through these rereads is annotate them because obviously I know I love these books and I know what happens. So this time going through, I want to focus more on like the writing and quotes and things like that. But obviously still enjoying the story because I love these books so much, and hopefully they all still remain a 5-star. I have a feeling that they will, but we'll see if any of my opinions change, but I don't think that they will. So the first book that I am going to be reading for this vlog is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I already took the dust jacket off because I did start this a little bit last night. I got to page 66. I forgot how fast-paced this book is. Like, I really wasn't reading for very long and I got a good chunk in. Also forgot just how much I love this book and how incredible the writing is. This book has sat on my nightstand along with Normal People as, like, I always tell people it's one of my favorite books ever since I read it, and I read it in January of 2023, so it's been like almost a year and a half since I read it, and I've continued to always think about this book and say that this is one of my favorite books of all time, and I'm so excited to get back into it and just remember exactly why I love this book. I am very nervous because I remember I literally sobbed while reading this book, so I'm sure it will happen again. I'm sure it will. There were parts I was already tearing up just being back with these characters and like remembering this story, and since I now know what happens, going back, you like notice little things that kind of, I wouldn't say foreshadowing, or yeah, maybe foreshadowing, or just little things that like, oh my gosh, I never recognized that before and now I'm recognizing it. So I'm definitely going through and annotating a lot more. I did have some annotations in this book, but I'm going through and annotating quite a bit more, and I'm loving it so much. So did start this last night, and then we are going to continue reading today. I don't know how much time I will have for reading because I do have a lot going on today. Obviously, I have to go to work, and then I'm actually leaving for Ohio tomorrow, so I have to do some packing tonight and all that good stuff. So I don't know how much time we'll get to read, but I'm gonna try. But yeah, so I am about to head to work. I'm going to continue reading, and yeah, I'll let you guys know how things are going, but just know, I already know this is a 5-star again. Like, I'm already obsessed. So you might be wondering, Natalie, where are you? You're in a car, and I'm actually back in Ohio. So for those of you that don't know, I'm from Ohio. Also, I apologize that the steering wheel is here. There's really no other good place to put the camera. But I am from Ohio, and I'm actually back for a few days visiting family. I was supposed to fly in last night, and my flight got canceled. So I ended up having to fly in this morning. It was a whole thing. So you might have seen I was reading a little bit at the airport of 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I'm almost done. I have about, let's see, I'm on page 316, so I have like 60-ish pages left, and I remember the last time that I read it, the last 60 pages made me absolutely sob. So I'm a little nervous. I already started crying during parts of it, just because I love this book so much and I love these characters. And I can't remember if I mentioned this, but being back in the story and knowing things that you know now after having read it, you pick up on other little things, and there's so many details that I didn't annotate the first time because I didn't realize how important they were, and then now going back a second time and knowing what happens, there's so many little details here and there that I'm annotating. I have like been going crazy. It was so funny at the airport. My flight that I was on was really tiny, and so they had to like check our bags at the gate, like roller bags, because there wasn't room in the overhead. And I was so engrossed in my book that when the gate agent came up to me, I literally didn't even notice her. And then she was like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then when I was getting on the plane, she was like, "You're really engrossed in that book, weren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's so good." I'm nervous to read these last 60 pages, but we're gonna have to pause on that because I'm actually about to head to go see Niall Horan in concert with my friend. The concert's about 3 hours away, so I do have to drive there. We're going to see him in Cuyahoga Falls, which is still in Ohio, but just in a different part of Ohio than where I grew up and where my family is. So I'm driving there, and we're going to see the concert tonight, and then I'll be back with my family tomorrow. But on my drive there, I decided that I'm actually going to listen to the Daisy Jones and the Six audiobook because that is one of my 5 stars. I loved that book. It was another one I read last year. I want to say either right before or right after I read Seven Husbands because I just loved Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing and was like, okay, I need to read another one by her. And of course, it ended up also being a 5-star. So, but I've heard such good things about the audiobook, and it is on the like Spotify free audiobooks. So I thought, what perfect time to listen to it than while I'm driving. I'm not a huge audiobook person, I'll be honest. I've tried, and sometimes I get a little bored by them, but I feel like when I'm driving, that's like the perfect opportunity to listen to an audiobook, and especially a book that I've already read before, so I kind of know what's happening. It says it is 9 hours and 3 minutes, so it'll be perfect for me to drive there and drive back tomorrow listening to it, and I might have a little bit more left, but we are going to go ahead and start this. So we've got, is this going to focus? Maybe. We've got that, and we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm excited because I've heard this one, each character has a different voice actor, which I'm very excited about because that's one of the things, if you've read Daisy Jones and the Six, the book is like almost written like a script. It's all basically dialogue. So I'm excited to see like, one, the voices that they put with it and like see what the voices of the characters would sound like. And then also I feel like it'll help make it a little less confusing when each person has a different voice. So we are going to go ahead and get started with the opening credits. Okay, so I am pulled over. I stopped at a bookstore. I'm going to do a little book shopping. I just want to say, so I made it through the first section, which is about like Daisy Jones. They call it like her groupie era. Now we're on to the rise of the Six, and I am really enjoying it, like having all the different people narrating it for each like character is really nice. It almost feels like listening to a podcast. I will say the one thing is on this Rise with the Six part, at least right now, we've got Billy and Graham, who are the 2 brothers, and then the drummer Warren, and I'm kind of having a hard time differentiating their voices. I feel like they all sound kind of similar, so I am having a little bit of a difficult time differentiating them, but I feel like context clues, you can kind of pick it up. And I feel like as I listen to it more, I'm only 4 minutes into this chapter, and this chapter is almost 40 minutes long, so I feel like I'll be able to get like a little bit of a better understanding of the voices or be able to figure them out more. But yeah, I am gonna go book shopping, and then I'll come back, and then we're gonna head to the concert, so we'll have a pretty long drive. I'm sure I'll stop at some point to like get coffee and whatnot, so I'll give you guys an update then on how it's going. But so far, really enjoying it. I feel like it's gonna be really good to listen to while I'm driving. Also, I'm just remembering how much I love this book. Again, it's a thing with like 5 stars, like going back and rereading this book, you're like, this is why I loved it so much. And I remember reading Daisy Jones, it wasn't a 5-star until towards the end for me. But now, like, of course, being back in it and like remembering why I love it, I'm like, yeah, this book's 5-star. Like, we're only on the first like section, and I'm already like, yeah, it's 5-star. Hi guys, so it has been a minute since I've updated you. Also, sorry if I'm talking quietly. My mom's house, and I'm in the basement because that's where I sleep when I come to visit. But I wanted to update you guys. So last night I finished Seven Husbands, Beverly and Hugo, and of course I sobbed. I sobbed for like the last 60 pages last time, and then I did the exact same thing this time. The book is just like so emotional and so well written, and I can't really say too much without like giving away a lot of what happens, but oh my gosh, it's so good. And then I did listen to quite a bit of Daisy Jones and the Six audiobook. I will say it was kind of hard to listen to while driving just because I had gotten like 4 hours of sleep, and so I was tired, and listening to the audiobook was like not keeping me awake. Like it was kind of making me tired just because their voices are like pretty relaxing almost. I don't know, it was weird. So I ended up turning it off and like having to listen to music to like keep myself awake. So I currently have 6 hours and 53 minutes left of the audiobook. So I'm gonna try and continue to listen to it over the next like couple days that I'm home, and then also on my flight home, and hopefully try and get through it. So I'll keep you guys updated, but I am really enjoying listening to the audiobook. Like I said before, I love all the different voices, and I feel like I'm starting to like get used to them now and like be able to pick out who's talking. And they do mention here and there like, okay, this is Billy, this is Graham, this is Daisy, like talking, so it helps to like know who it is. It's been so fun to reread books that are 5 stars because like I know that they're going to be good, and obviously part of this was to see if they are still going to be 5 stars, which Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo 100% is, and I can already tell that Daisy Jones and the Six is going to be as well. So it is a couple of days later, and I apologize that I have not updated you on where I'm at. I'm obviously back in my apartment in Chicago now. I didn't update too much while I was back in Ohio just because I was spending a lot of time with family, and I just was very busy and didn't have a lot of time to film. I have now finished the Daisy Jones and the Six audiobook. I literally just finished it on my walk home from work, and I loved it so much. Oh my god, it was so good. Obviously, I've read the book, I know the story, I know what happens, but I really enjoyed the audiobook because it felt like real people were just like telling you their life story in like a podcast format. And especially having all the different voices for the different people, like it just made the story feel that much more real, which I feel like Taylor Jenkins Reid does such a good job of making these characters feel real anyways, but then hearing their voices, it's so good. I still, and I don't know how, and please hate on me for this because it's amazing how I haven't done this yet, but I have not watched the show, and now I really want to watch the show because I love this book so much. Another thing is I did start Happy Place. I'm only like 30 pages in. That is the next 5-star book that we are going to be rereading. I have done at least some Emily Henry reread every year, in addition to reading her newest releases, probably for the past like 3 years now. I think the first book I read of hers was Beach Read, and then I read Book Lovers, or no, maybe I read People We Meet on Vacation first. I don't remember, but obviously I've read all of her books. I love all of her books, and Happy Place was one that I read last year that obviously I gave 5 stars, and I just like, something about it hit me so hard. If you don't know, it's a romance, but there's a huge element of friendship in it as well, and just like friendships as you get older and how things with like your college friends change as you all move away and that kind of stuff. And it just hit me at a time in my life where that was really prevalent for me, and I am only 30 pages in, and there's already so much that I'm going back through and annotating. A lot of stuff that I annotated the first time around, but there's also other things that I'm seeing now that like the second time through I'm annotating again. Because I now know the story and I'm not so much focusing on what's happening, I can focus more on the quotes and the words and the writing. And so I'm noticing that I'm like highlighting and underlining so much more when I'm going through these rereads. And the one thing that I did miss about listening to Daisy Jones and the Six was that I didn't get to annotate, because there were so many times where I would hear a quote said and I was like, oh my god, I would so underline that. So maybe at some point I'll go back through Daisy Jones and the Six and annotate it more. But I'm about to head to the gym. I got home from work a little bit ago, and I need to make dinner and stuff later when I get home. But tonight I'm gonna try and get a decent way through Happy Place if I can. I apologize. It has kind of been a minute since I updated you. But last night I did end up finishing Happy Place. And of course, again, another 5-star reread. I just love this book so much. It's so special to me. There are so many parts that I relate to so heavily, and I just absolutely adore everything about this book. I love Emily Henry's writing. I think this is arguably one of her best books. Like the writing in this, the relatability, and just how real and raw it is. Like I love this book. The last book that we are going to be reading for this video is, of course, Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Reckless just came out a couple days ago, and I have it in my possession, but I've been waiting to read it because I wanted to do a Powerless reread before, just because I read Powerless at the end of last year, so it's been a while, and I kind of wanted to like refresh my memory. Also, again, I just love this book. It was a 5-star for me, and I was like, well, I'm doing a 5-star reread book, so I might as well reread this right before I read Reckless. I annotated this book quite a bit when I read it the first time, but I'm definitely going to go back through, maybe annotate some more. We'll see. Oh my god, I'm so excited to get back into this world. Like, I just love these characters so much. I love this book so much. So I'm actually about to head to the lake and gonna read there. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I laid out yesterday and was reading, and I got a little bit sunburnt. You can't really tell, it kind of faded. It's more so on my legs, so I need to make sure I'm applying extra sunscreen today. It just always happens to me, no matter how much sunscreen I put on. The first couple times I lay out in the year, I just always get sunburnt, and I haven't really had much of an opportunity to lay out, so this was kind of inevitable. But yeah, I'm gonna head to the lake and start reading Powerless. Since I've updated you on Powerless. I am currently on page 191. I just love this book so much. I didn't forget, but like just the quotes and like how much I annotated the first time around. And there are other things I'm annotating, but like the amount that I annotated the first time around, like there are so many good quotes. I need to read a couple of my favorites, and I promise these are not any sort of spoiler. One of my absolute favorite quotes in this book, like it's incredible, is on page 169, and this is in Kai's point of view, so the male main character, and he says, "She's the embodiment of a bad decision, the twin of danger and desire, the fine line between deadly and divine, and I can feel myself drowning." Oh my god, like Lauren Roberts, what are you doing to me? Oh my goodness. And then the other one, he says, "Oh, but the sound of your voice was such a welcome distraction from the pain." Like, oh my god, men like Kai are just everything. He's everything. I'm obsessed with him. Definitely going to continue reading tonight. It's only 7:30. It's taken me a little bit longer to get through this, I feel like, than it did the first time I read it. But I have been kind of busy the past few days, so I haven't had a ton of reading time. But the next couple days, I don't have a lot going on. So I'm gonna try and get a lot of reading done. And then I'm gonna pick up Reckless next. I'm so excited. Like, I genuinely can't wait. I've been avoiding seeing any sort of spoilers online because I want to go into it like not knowing anything. The only thing I have heard is a few people said it was better than Powerless, which I don't know how anything could be better than this book. So anyways, I am going to continue reading now. Okay, so I finally finished my Powerless reread, and it was so good. Like, it was just as expected. All of these books stood the test of time as being 5 stars, like so good. This book constantly had me giggling, kicking my feet. The last, like, I don't know, 50, 60 pages is like insane, an absolute whirlwind. I went through and annotated so much more in this book. The quotes in this book and like Lauren Roberts' writing is just phenomenal. Like the way she writes so lyrically and poetically, and just these like I am continuously blown away by her writing. I am actually just starting Reckless. Well, not just starting, I'm about halfway through now. And it's amazing. So stay tuned for all of my opinions on that in my July wrap up. Let's quickly go over all of my rereads that we did. We started with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Again, 5 stars. Love this book. Made me cry so much. Then we did the Daisy Jones and the Six audiobook. It was so much fun to listen to it in the audiobook form the second time around, and I feel like I appreciated it so much more, and it just felt that much more real. Then, of course, we have Happy Place, still one of my favorite books of all time. I just relate so much to this book. I relate to the characters, what they're going through, just friendships in general. I love how Emily Henry writes friendships, and I really, really love it in this book. And then, of course, we have Powerless, truly what got me into fantasy and made me obsessed with enemies to lovers. Like, if you want an enemies to lovers book, this is the one. There's no other. Like, this is the one. So that is all. Thank you guys for coming along with me on this journey of rereading some of my 5 stars. I had a lot of fun. It was so much fun to reread these books, and to know that they all stood the test of time and remained 5 stars is very good to know. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.